Why are we experiencing too much rainfall or heavy rainfalls in the southern part of the African continent? I've heard a lot of sayings buzzing on the internet. Some argue that these heavy rainfalls stems from the passing of Mozambique's miracle child by the name of Rosita Pedro, who passed away on Monday morning of this week. And by the way, this rainfall have been going on for like the past 2 weeks or so, and a lot of arguments, it is believed, with a touch or with a background of African understanding, that this heavy rainfall stems from her passing, which is a reflection of what really took place in the year 2000 when she was born. And let me just give you a quick background of who she is and why she is called the miracle child, Mozambique's miracle child. From the history or my revelation of her birth, and also during her existence in this world, it comes from what I've heard, what I've read about, what I've seen unfolding before my eyes, which is why I feel like it's very good to paint a very clear picture of who she is or who she was and what's behind the name the miracle child or the miracle baby. From what I've heard in my revelation of her birth or her existence, I've heard that in the early 2000 or in the year 2000, a heavy rainfall took place, which really flooded and also took place in many parts of the southern parts of the African continent, the likes of Mozambique, which are in the western coast or in the coastal areas, as well as other parts of the South African country, in provinces like Mpumalanga, Limpopo, and so on and so forth. So her mother gave birth to her on a tree, and the reason behind that, it was simply because it was flooding in the Mozambique area. Those who know Mozambique, we have an idea of the landscape. It's very flat, which is why water couldn't flow or it couldn't flood properly the way it's supposed to flood or the way water is supposed to flow. So they were just escaping from what was really happening, the flooding that took place in the Mozambique area, in Gaza. So they tried to escape. Along the way of them having to cross the border between Mozambique and South Africa, that's where the rain really hit her very hard, to a point where they had to climb a tree. A lot of people never made it, whom they were together with. They couldn't make it because it was just heavy rainfalls and it was flooding all over. So she climbed a tree. Meanwhile, she was pregnant, holding one of her siblings, which I think he or she also made it. I didn't really delve much into the history of her older brother or her older sister, but from what I know or from my revelations, I was told and I've read that she had a sibling, an older sibling at that time, and she was still on her mother's tummy up until her mother gave birth to her in that very same day or at that moment after she climbed the tree. She was saved by South African Defence Force, whom were patrolling at that time just to see who needs help and what they can actually contribute towards making and also saving lives, because there were many lives that were lost at that time from what I was told. Long story short, with that rich background of who Rosita was, I think it really gives you, it really gave you that enthusiasm to learn more about the history that I'm carrying, or the history that I'm about to share with you on today's video. So, after she was saved, she was then called the miracle child, because this is something that has never happened before. It was history in making, and a lot of people celebrated her birth. A lot of people celebrated her existence. A lot of people celebrated her contributions to this world, because there is no way in which you can talk about heavy rainfalls in Mozambique without mentioning her name. The heavy rains that took place in the year 2000, there is no way in which you can mention that without her name. This is the history that we have been told and taught back in the days, and we didn't know who the miracle child was up until this heavy rainfall took place this year, which is why a lot of people learned about their history, they learned about their existence, and it was really mind shifting, as well as, for me personally, I feel like it's more spiritual than physical, and I'll try to explain as much as I can to try to unpack it in a way that the next person is able to comprehend my message. Why do I mean about it being spiritual? It's simply because for things to unfold in this physical realm, they firstly need to take place in the spiritual realm. Hence, you read some of the scriptures that talks about what's written on earth, it's written in heaven, according to other scriptures. And my understanding of these scriptures, it is deeper than what most people really understand it, because it's written in allegories. One needs to be very much connected and also spiritually aligned to a point where you're able to understand what's written in the scriptures, what is being taught by the elders, what's being taught by people of higher nature. And it's just one of those things that I feel like a lot of people should take time to understand. And not only that, being able to understand in a way that it gives them a better perspective of what really took place or what's about to take place. So my whole understanding about this whole heavy rainfall, it is that we are entering a new generation. It's just a symbol of we are moving slowly but surely moving towards a different generation, which in my understanding we call it the age of Aquarius, the information age, the age of transparency. At that time, when that rain took place in the year 2000, it was just a symbol that we are entering a new generation, which most people call it the generation of the 2000s. And a lot of things happened. I still remember in the year 2012 when a lot of people said that the world is ending, and they really missed the point about the world that is ending, about the world that was ending. It's the old ways, it's the old generation, the old ways of thinking, the old ways of doing things that was ending. Our thinking patterns, That is what was really shifting. It was a mindset shift. We start to perceive things differently. We start to do things differently. We start to speak a different language. That is what was really taking place at that time. And at that time, in the year 2012, what really took place when people said the world was ending, it was technology advancing. If you could remember and track down what really took place, you would see what I'm talking about, or you would remember what I'm talking about. Technology was shifting, was advancing. We're slowly but surely moving towards what we are living currently. Yes, COVID-19 tried to prepare us for what's coming, and a lot of people were very ignorant. And I truly understand why they were very ignorant, because they were not mentally prepared, they were not spiritually prepared, or rather spiritually aligned with whom we are, what connects us with this nature. It is what I feel like we have lost, the connection, which is why such symbols really come to pass as a reminder of who we are, as a reminder of knowing oneself. And it doesn't stop from there. Understanding the connection that we have with this universe, or with this earth, or with nature. We are one with nature. And as soon as we start to lose that, that's where nature takes its course in a way that reminds you who you are, of who you are meant to be. The whole purpose of life gets revived by such moments, which is why these heavy rainfalls were necessary after COVID-19 really lost its mission. It was supposed to awaken the souls. It was supposed to awaken the minds of the people. But because we have lost the connection with this nature, with this universe, one way or another we tend to ignore when nature reminds us of who we are, who we are meant to be. We are deeper than what our minds and our consciousness can understand. This is just too deep. I feel like we need much more time to unpack some of these things. But my whole theory or my understanding of these heavy rainfalls, this is not just a rain that was accompanying the passing of the late Rosita, the Mozambique's miracle child. It was deeper than that. It's just an awakening. We are entering a new generation. One needs to prepare themselves. And the real question to ask is, how do I position myself for this new generation? How do I become one, or rather have a stronger connection with nature? Those are some of the questions that we need to start asking ourselves for us to start moving towards the right direction, for us to have a very good and stronger relationship with this nature. And that's my message for you all today. For more life-changing information like this, I've written books like this one, Truth Revealed. I wrote this book in the year 2021 when COVID was taking place, and the whole idea behind this book, was just to awaken the minds of my people. Hence, the birth of this book was very necessary at that time, which is why it is still relevant even today, because I delved much into what people tend to ignore, what really happens behind the scene for things to happen the way they do happen, for things to unfold the way they do unfold. For more life-changing information, like I said, I will leave the link to the book on the description box. If you would like to get a physical copy, can just hit me up. I'll leave the details for which you can contact me on the description box. On that note, if you are new into this YouTube channel, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't, and press the notification bell so whenever I get to upload, you will be the first one to be notified. On that note, I wish to carry on with this topic. Just let me know on the comment section if you'd like me to give you a part 2 of this video, as well as I would like to know and also have an understanding of your revelations. Let me know what do you think about this heavy rainfall on the comment section. And on that note, I'll see you guys on our next YouTube video. This is your boy Duncan Mnisi. I'll see you guys on the next one. So these beads are handmade by South African. This is a symbol that I'm a real African. I'm an African child, born and raised in Africa, which is why I'm proud of my identity. And not only that, I've learned that most people tend to understand this kind of things because of what we're taught growing up, of what we're born exposed to. This is not even a symbol of being a Sangoma or any spiritual leader, anything like that. No, it is just a reminder to me that I'm still an African. I'm a born and raised African child. I love my continent. I love my people. I love everything about Africa. See you guys on the next one.